This might sound weird, but I've tested the feet of different athletes from young kids to elite professionals, and based on the data, it looks like you cannot get crazy fast without this one thing. It has nothing to do with lifting more weight or even improving your running technique. The coaches who understand speed already know this concept, but majority of individuals still overlook it. I've helped over 2,000 people improve their speed, and we have over 700 members inside of our sprint club. 99% of athletes overlooked this before they came to us. And quick disclaimer, this is not an overnight trick to run faster. This will take time, and you still need to do real pure speed training. Specifically, I conducted a 10.5 RSI test with over 50 athletes, including high school soccer players, sub-11 sprinters, gymnasts, a 59-year-old Olympian, a 2-time NBA champion, and more. Ages ranging from 12 to 60 from 12 different countries. The fastest, most athletic, and healthiest athletes have insanely bouncy feet. This means their feet can absorb, then release significant forces rapidly for multiple repetitions. A football athlete can move heavy weight in the gym all they want, but in a straight line sprint, the skinny bouncy sprinter like Andre DeGrasse will outrun those guys without breaking a sweat. Look at a cheetah and how they just bounce along effortlessly. If you want to achieve effortless speed, here's the checklist for bouncy feet. 1, can your feet absorb, then release high amounts of force? 2, can it absorb and release those forces fast? 3, can it do so for multiple repetitions? The beautiful thing is that a 10.5 RSI test measures exactly that. RSI stands for Reactive Strength Index, and before there's any confusion, it is important to note that there are different RSI tests, but in this case, we are looking at a 10.5 test. A 10.5 RSI test consists of performing 1 squat jump followed by 10 pogo hops, and the 5 best are used to create your score. It's also important to note that there are different ways to calculate a 10.5 RSI test, and the method that we use in the Sprint Club is air time divided by ground contact time. The scores are in the range of 1.0 to 4.0 approximately. For athletes in the Sprint Club, we aim for a 2.5 or higher. If you can get a 3.0 or higher, that's well above average and you're moving very fast. If you're below 2.0, then you have a lot of work to do. Take a look at these RSI scores: 1.73, 1.81, 1.96, and 1.98. Now, let me show you their 100-meter personal best: 14.4, 12.9, 16.9, and 12.31. This time, let's look at some of the highest RSI scores we analyzed: 2.96, 3.18, 3.77. Now let me show you the 100-meter PBs: 10.96, 10.4, and 10.5. I've just shown you some of the lowest and highest scores, but how about if we look at some scores that are in the middle of the range? Take a look at these: 2.28, 2.32, and 2.34. Here's their 100-meter PBs: 11.3, 11.2, 11.7. As you can see, in general, lower scores correlate with less speed and higher numbers correlate with more speed. But it's important to note that this is correlation, not causation. You can have a good 10.5 RSI score and still be slow. This is not an instant trick to run faster. Running fast is complex and requires multiple pieces. But you still need to do pure speed training and work on your weak points. All I'm saying in this video is that having a 10.5 RSI score is one critical piece of the pie required to run fast. I have not seen any of our sub-11 sprinters have low RSI scores. If you're a serious athlete and never tested your 10.5 RSI, you need to do it ASAP. One of the biggest discoveries I've had with all this data is that the best RSI scores are from individuals who have spent their early childhood in martial arts, gymnastics, ballet, or some other activity that requires you to spend a lot of time barefoot, putting low impact stress on the foot. For example, our Sprint Club manager Maria has one of the highest scores among both men and women. As a Sprint Club manager, she helps members with non-speed related help, such as technical support, getting new members set up, and organizing data. Her background is in ballet and rhythmic gymnastics since the age of 3. As a result, take a look at her score: 2.97. 2.97 for a young male is a great score. 2.97 for a female who is not even a track athlete is wild. She actually competed in a charity sports event a few years back and won every single event. Now I understand why. It's a similar story with Evan, except he is both a track athlete and a black belt in Taekwondo. He runs 10.5 and his RSI score is 3.77, which is the highest we've recorded so far. It seems that having bouncier feet isn't necessarily about doing a ton of high impact plyometrics in a short amount of time. In fact, I would warn you that if you try to do too much too soon, you can injure yourself and have things like plantar fasciitis, Achilles pain, which is not something that you want to be dealing with. Low intensity stress on the feet is what would explain why martial artists, ballet dancers, and gymnasts seem to have some of the bounciest feet. By the way, in case you're wondering why I haven't been uploading long YouTube videos recently and what is this Sprint Club thing I keep mentioning, let me explain real quick. As I do, I'm going to show you the estimated 10.5 RSI scores of members from the Maasai tribe who've gone viral for their bouncy jumps. This year, we officially launched the Sprint Club, and I've spent most of my time working on that. The Sprint Club is a worldwide club designed to help you run faster. We mainly provide online coaching, but also have in-person coaching around the world. Our Olympic sprint coach, Wendell Dickinson, can fly out to you wherever you are located in the USA for VIP coaching, especially Florida, Ohio, California, and Texas. Over the summer, I was coaching in Europe, and recently we had a coaching clinic in New York that included 2 Olympic coaches. I'm currently in New York, but next I'm going to Mexico to train one of the fastest college sprinters there. In fact, we have athletes from all around the world, including USA, Mexico, Spain, India, Japan, Australia, Sweden, Estonia, Denmark, and much more. If you want to find out more, you can go to our website, www.sprintclub.co, and see everything we have to offer. The link will also be in our channel bio and description. In terms of the Maasai tribe, this is more evidence that spending more time barefoot and using the Achilles tendon will make your feet crazy bouncy. And speaking of barefoot, one of the easiest ways to begin training your foot more is to switch up your footwear. Then every single step you take is an opportunity to strengthen your feet. Barefoot style shoes provide just the right amount of protection and nothing more. Whereas traditional sneakers provide so much support, your foot muscles are unable to actually do any real work and never get stronger.
I want to show you something down here. This is an arch. It's one of the most stable structures ever built. If you put pressure on it from above, it gets stronger. Do you want to break an arch? All you have to do is this. Support it.
Let's do the math. Let's say you take 5,000 steps every day. That's 1,825,000 steps every year where you could be strengthening your feet. Not to mention the fact that having thick running shoes limits your awareness of how your feet are contacting the ground, meaning you might end up sprinting on your heels and not even know it. Also, they are designed to allow your feet to move because of the flexibility of the shoe and spread your toes so that you can actually engage more of your foot muscles. The official barefoot shoes that we recommend inside the Sprint Club are Zero Shoes. Co-founder and CEO Steven Sashin is actually one of the first members of the Sprint Club. In fact, he's a Masters All-American sprinter, one of the fastest men over the age of 50 in the US, and we even have his RSI score. His score comes out to 2.47. For someone who's over 50 and spends most of their time running a company, that's very good. He also happens to be an All-American gymnast. Again, we have another example of an individual who has a background in a barefoot activity that also has a relatively high score. To check out Zero Shoes, you can see the link in the description of this video. Let me show you the RSI score of 2-time Olympian, 8-time German national champion in the 110-meter hurdles, Matthias Bühler. As a man over 30 who's been retired for a while now, his score is 3.03. I want to acknowledge that this is not as scientific as you would normally find in research papers. Some athletes performed their test on a warm day with a full warm-up, and others did this test in cold European weather with a 2-minute warm-up like Matthias. For example, John Bernal has a PB of 10.4, and it looks like he performed his 10.5 RSI score in between doing homework. Shout out to him getting his work and his workout done. His RSI score came out to 3.18. In a minute, I'm going to show you the score of a 59-year-old Olympian and 2-time NBA champion who played alongside LeBron James. But first, I have to let you know that we're giving out a ton of prizes, including a brand new iPhone 15, Zero Shoes, and more. We are basically bribing our athletes to analyze their 10.5 RSI scores. All you have to do is complete a 10.5 RSI test and send it in via the Sprint Club, and it doesn't matter what your score is, you will automatically be entered into the challenge for a chance to win a prize. The link will be in the description to learn more about how you can win. This is Wendell Dickinson, one of the fastest men above 50 and holds 3 indoor world records in his age group. Not only is he present during our weekly coaching calls inside the Sprint Club, but he also travels around the country to train athletes in person. His score comes out to 2.60 at almost 60 years old. This is 2-time NBA champion Norris Cole, formerly part of the Miami Heat, who window trains in person. His score is 2.82, which is great considering the standards that we have are for adult males in their 20s competing in track. Does that mean you should put your kids in ballet, gymnastics, martial arts, or some activity that requires a lot of hours barefoot? Based on the data that I've seen, this is a no-brainer. Think of it like this. Imagine doing 10 plus years of low intensity plyometrics at the age where the body is most able to adapt and develop. There's no overnight trick I can give you to replace 10 plus years of low intensity, high volume stress on the foot. The best thing you can do, start now. Get your 10.5 RSI score tested ASAP according to the algorithm. You might enjoy this video. Click here to watch that next.